What's up, everybody?
Welcome back to the podcast.
I am Ethan with Fight Me on This.
That felt weird to say podcast. I'm Jill at
I'm
Coach Jill.
surprised you
April.
didn't pause it like you normally do podcast. You just went through it. That almost hurt my brain.
You're all welcome for saying the full word this time. Did I already say my handle? At Coach Jill. April.
This is an awesome start.
We're
I don't think I
doing
did.
great.
I'm Ethan at Fight Me on This. I think I was the one that didn't.
No, you did it. Now you've heard it
No,
all.
you didn't. I don't think I did.
Well, now you guys know. You're welcome.
Cool.
Hot start.
Awesome.
Get you a glimpse into our brains today. This is it.
How it's going today.
But we're happy you're here and
Yes,
hanging out with us.
Yeah. This week we are always and obviously starting with hards and joys. What is your hard this week?
I guess my heart will kind of sort of adjacent to our podcast topic today.
Oh yeah, fair.
Is communication, and like more specifically the differences in how people choose to communicate. You and I have a difference in communication.
Mm-hmm.
But it never gets easier when you're trying to get a point across and somebody is just like missing the point, whether that's a friend or a relationship or a new connection or family, whatever, when you're trying to get your point across and it is just not heard the way you need it to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And just like trying to get your point across without just ripping a head off, because there gets to a point
tough.
where I'm like, okay, I've said it this way, I've said it that way, I've said it a third way, now I just hate you.
Now I've just said it.
Now I just hate you. Like, that's how it goes eventually. And last week, he's coming back, nobody panic. Last week, just navigating a difference in communication within our world and not being heard or understood, and just the frustrations that come with that, which I'm sure everybody can relate to. Yeah, you know those fancy coffee cups that like have a heating element in them so they keep your coffee warm?
For right here, so I can have my coffee warmer and I don't have to leave the scene. I mean, or it could just be funny. I'll leave the scene. I don't care. Yeah, communication is a big topic for us all the time in this house, in this life. So Jill's frustration is warranted when we do our best to communicate and learn to communicate and other people's communication styles and think that we've covered our bases. It can be holy shit frustrating.
Yeah, and I get it with like people that aren't in the lifestyle or don't have mental health things or like don't get it.
I don't. You can talk.
That's fair.
I don't because I like literally if you take polyamory out of this is a human trait. We try to make the correlation all the time between like why this life is no different than the life that everybody else seems to live, but they just want to put it in a fucking box, is because there's no difference. It's this communication doesn't have a identification. Yeah. It doesn't pick polyamory, it doesn't pick monogamy. You need communication in every fucking facet of life that you have if you're going to get through it with relative community. Like, yeah. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm challenging you on that one. No, it is absolutely an everybody fucking problem. This is a basic skill. Yes, you're right. Social anxiety. That's hard to do the mouthy thing when you're in a group of people you don't know. Or fine, that's not what I'm saying. When you are safe and you feel safe and you say you feel safe and you go into the conversation, you have the conversation and still come out and you didn't have the conversation. That's what I'm driving at.
Yeah, yes. And even like sharing the story with people that aren't in the lifestyle, they're like, nope, incorrect no matter which way you spin it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like who said it to you the other day that was just like, what happened? That doesn't make sense. Even if I did that here, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember who you were telling the story to. But like it communication is the breakdown, and it's a fucking skill that everybody should have. I didn't become a great communicator because I lived this life. I became a great communicator through finding myself and understanding that I can't expect people to know. So I learned to tell people. And then people would tell me, and then I learned to tell them better, and I learned to hear, and then it's a progressive thing. You actually learn how to do it better if you just take a chance on it, but we don't want to get into that right now. I'm supposed to be talking about my heart. I just doubled down on yours. Yeah, my heart is still my mental health. It's still not fun in here. It is Yeah, a few good days earlier this week. Got some life shit figured out and career shift and where I want to go and what I want to do next and these things that are going to come up and be super exciting. And then woke up Wednesday to go to yoga. And by the time I got back from yoga, I was in it severely again. When I get in it, it's I like listen. I'm sure it's similar for most people, but it's I can't tell friend from foe in the most aggressive way. Um, it just becomes survival so fast and for no reason. Again, no reason other than a constant memory that I've been having. Um, it like a flashback. Um, yeah, like a flashback, but this one's more of a memory. Like I obviously flash back to this time and to this place, and I have this one in particular, and I've been having it. Oh fuck, I cannot remember how long. My whole life, really. It's one of these. Such a vivid memory and reoccurring memory that it's like it's almost as bad as the sexual abuse. Like, and I say that, and I don't mean I'm joking when I smile, like, because like sexual abuse really fucks with your brain, like it what it does to the wiring of so many pieces of you is fascinating. But then when I have this reoccurring memory, this flashback, this holy shit about my story, there's nothing sexual about it. It's violent as fuck. Um, and it's one of those memories that reminds me in the most visceral way of like I didn't have a chance. It's wild to be here some days when I think back and I really dig on these memories and these flashbacks because that's my job. I'm healing, I'm growing. I need to know what the fuck these mean. I need to know why they're coming up. I need to know what triggers them, so that I can help my people support me through them. Uh, but like when you dig into this these things, these memories, and you keep finding more horrific answers, like you think that there's going to be an end to the level of really in your life. Um, but the reality of being a trauma survivor or being that suffers from CPTSD is it's never over. There isn't a fucking moment in my life that I won't have to navigate these triggers, these landmines, that the people around me won't have to navigate them with me. And some days, weeks, months, that fact alone is exhausting and one of the most dangerous thoughts that I have. There's always an end in sight for most people. There's always something that's going to be a goal at the end, and my goal was to heal, and I will never be done. I will never not have to recover. I will never not have to rehab my mind. I will never not have to rehab my body. I'm going to suffer more suicide attempts. I'm going to live through more self harm. I'm going to live through remembering sights, sounds, smells, these things that nobody should know or remember at the hands of parents. Like my hard, it is like an everyday hard. But this time of year, and there's another time of year coming up where the hard is like, it's not just reliving this shit again. Because I can feel it, it registers, it lands in my body. Like that's bad enough. But the other side of it is knowing that every bit of evil that did that to me is still gets to live a happy life, safe, confident life with people, feel real love from people, or at least what they define to be real love from people. They get to laugh unburdened. So that is my heart this week. Is the weight of being a survivor.
As always, I know me and everybody appreciates when you share the heart, real heart. not just the surface level ones. I know there's quite a few people that have reached out and given feedback and just commented on the fact that makes them feel a little less alone.
When I started this mission, it was so people didn't feel alone. Me included. If I was sharing my story, like people were hearing me for the first time. If I was sharing my story, someone might feel heard. For those of you that don't know, like I started writing. I was doing blog pieces. I didn't want to. I had a plan to die. I needed out. I'm just tired. So fucking tired. And then I wrote this piece. And I don't remember. I don't remember which was the first one because I wrote so many in the first year. But I'm pretty sure it was identity. And it was what sparked me getting to speak. It was what sparked me being a counseling support, a crisis intervention. All these things came from the first bit of writing there. And when I turned my phone off because I knew that I wasn't going to be here in the morning, it was this idea that someone was going to see that and keep going. So it was okay if I went. It's okay if I die if someone keeps living, if they choose to live because they saw that before I left, then that has to be enough. Even then, I knew that someone would see a story and relate to it that way. Even then, when I first started this, when I didn't want to breathe anymore, when I didn't want to do this, like that, some of the worst bits of low in my life, even with a therapist and becoming a dad, like the knowledge was always there that if I said the thing, like at least one person would see it. I needed to see it. I don't, I do this thing and I try to make, a livelihood off of it so that I can keep this roof over my head and do the things. And I'm loud and I can be obnoxious. I can be a lot of things. I've had to craft a lot of different ways to survive and a lot of ways to get my message across. And I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but like, fuck you, I drink coffee anyway. But like, I do all of it so somebody knows that someone else on this planet gets it. In the worst way. Like there's no bit of happy that everybody in this world can understand. But there's something about that horror, that suffering. You just want to know that somebody gets it, like really understands why your brain ticks the way it does, why you react the way you do, the way you see the world the way you do. You hope that one person might have a shot at understanding you for the first time in your life. You might be seen by somebody. I don't share in this podcast because I want somebody to go like, you're fucking great. No, I don't give a shit. I don't think I'm great. I think that I had to do what I did to survive. And now I show people that it's possible to not just survive.
Speaking of not just surviving, do you have a joy from the week?
I got to model a few times this week, which was fun. It's always fun to model, to get to do stuff. It's fun when I'm in a place where I'm struggling with myself, my mind, my body, my spirit, and still able to find spaces to create with one or two or pieces or more. To get to put on a different hat in a way, to get to really take on a role by playing a dark, demonic or black angel, dark demon, whatever you want to call it. It was a lot of fun to be in makeup and just to go through and then create the actual vision. I'm sure I'll get to share some photos here soon. But yeah, just getting to model and still seeing how that gets to grow and how I get to use my creative side with my body and everything else and bring it into a big picture.
Yeah, the pictures, the couple that I've seen, are super cool. Yeah, and I know you like working with the photographer you did the spooky shoot with.
Shout out to Melissa. She's fucking great, Arsenic Noir. You need wild as fuck boudoir dark shoot, any kind of dark shoot. Really, if you just want to be like, they're your weird go to for photo shoots. Like it's just fucking fun. They're so creative and they get it. They work with you as the model, even though like I have experience. There's still tons of back and forth, and yeah, Melissa's a lot of fun to work with. So if you want to check them out, Arsenic Noir, we'll tag him in this video, whichever one we post. But yeah, get it done. Reach out. They could use your support.
Yeah. Plus, Ethan got to wear colored contacts for the shoot. And that's not my joy from the week, but could be.
I
Cause
do miss contacts. That was like one of my things that I found in my styles. I love color contacts. I love the weird. I love that extra shit. Y'all know me.
the
So
first
there
time
may be a
we
few more color contacts in my near future here.
the first time we dated, he wore colored contacts frequently, and I don't think I've seen you in them since.
Yeah.
I was peacefully taking a nap, and he woke me up with light blue eyes. It was a lot of emotions in one being.
It's a lot of emotions, yeah. Yeah, your joy.
My joy goes. I don't know where I was going with that sentence.
Nice.
My joy was. I don't do kids. We know this. Don't want them. I'm good. But I do get to hang out with Ethan's daughter semi-frequently, regularly. I don't know. And she's cool. She's about as close to having a kid as I would like to be. Um, didn't come out of me.
Listens slightly.
Yeah.
Still has respect for you in some way.
Yeah. I get to be like the fun. What's the word? Adult figure. Yep. But we made breakfast for dinner the other night.
Oh, for the record, we don't do family shit here. We don't do that's Auntie Jill or Uncle Brian. That's so fucking weird in my brain. We can talk about it another time. So what you heard just now is why we don't do family names on shit like that. That's Miss Jill, Mr. Brian. And if you want, you might just get away with Jill or Brian, but that's between you and them. Like my kid talks to adults like they're grown because she doesn't need more family. She has plenty of that over there. That you're not her family. You're people that she should feel safe with without having to fucking have a family tie. For fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
I feel better.
I made breakfast for dinner for us, and when I was a kid, my dad used to make pancakes after church, and turn them into letters, which was like probably a partial bribe, but it's fine. He would turn them into like the first letter of your name, and I haven't done that.
Your bribes were different than mine.
I haven't done that in so long, but as soon as we were doing breakfast for dinner and we were having pancakes, I was like, I'm going to see if I can still make a letter. So I made a giant A. Like, it was huge. Like, probably bigger than your hand. Like,
it was easily like, if this was the A, the picture I got looked like literally it looked like this thing would have fit maybe on the dish.
It was huge. And the key is like the pancake batter has to be thick enough or else it just runs into a giant blob. But anywho, I made a giant pancake, blueberries, 2 breakfast sausages, tater tots, and I made a fruit sauce to put on top, exactly as requested. And I deliver said plate, and Ethan's daughter just looks at it and goes, "Thanks." And my whole brain was like, "Thanks? You don't have anything else to say? You're gonna act like this is a regular dinner I just put in front of you." She also didn't know I was making her a giant A. And then she didn't eat anything for like 20 minutes, and I was like, if this child chooses that this is the dinner she eats none of, we're gonna have a problem. And then all of a sudden she started eating, so I just hid in the kitchen. I was like, don't make any sudden moves, don't spook her. Just like let her eat. And she brings her plate back with like 1 bite of the pancake left.
There were fixins and shit on that too. Like there's other stuff.
She was like, "Miss Jill, I'm full." And I was like, "You're good. You killed it." Like, I did not think you were going to eat all of that. And then as she's walking away, she goes, "That A was really cool. How did you make that?" And I literally was like, "Oh, I knew you thought it was cool." So
my kid is a lot like me that way. And like, I love her so much. You're like, yeah. Because the conversation was had. We agreed on you were going to make food. You decided to do something cool from your perspective and then expected me to have a reaction. I didn't know that. So you brought me food we agreed on while I was doing something. So I saw the food and was like, thanks. I meant the thanks. You brought me and said you completed the task that we agreed upon. So we're good. And went back to what we're doing. And sometimes what we're doing takes over completely because tism. And that's my kid. And I can picture her sitting on the couch just watching and feeling the heat grow from the kitchen. She's so funny that way.
Yeah, but like kids are the one thing I can appreciate about kids is like they got no filter. They just like say it how it is, which is great and also really bad all at the same time. So that could have gone very poorly for me, but I'm glad she in fact thought the A was cool. And I hope I've ruined all regular pancakes for her.
And everybody else. If you're gonna be the champion of pancakes, I'm cool with it.
Everyone better learn how to make some letters or your pancakes are going to be lame. What are we talking about? Oh, we're talking about managing time within relationships and as polyhumans and
Time comes up a lot in this life, and with our people, and with people that have questions, and there's a lot of. I get a lot of the question of like, how do you have time for that many people? And it's not that I have time for that many people. It's that I'm in conversation with these people while we're getting to know each other, and I state the fact and my expectation on my own time and energy beforehand. If people want to try to get along with that, then here they be. If not, then that's cool. On with you, where you get to find the person that can give you the time you want. I don't really play this game and do this life in expectations that way, because it's always a good way to get let down, cause resentment, have shit fill in the void that shouldn't be there. So if I don't expect stuff out of your time, then I know that you have a life, and I'm going to get to see you, and I enjoy that time that I do get to see you with everything I have. Like, we fuck up quality time a lot in this five long love languages bullshit. It's not that the love languages bullshit. How we apply them is bullshit. Because quality time is missed. That means you think you have to be attached to the hip, talking locked eyes and heart centered and humming fucking tunes together. Like, I I'm not even sorry. I'm annoyed with it because like you people think quality time, and then when I'm in these conversations, they are demanding hours and hours and hours of my time. But I have a whole life outside of before you walk the fuck up in here to connect with me.
it
I'm
also like depends on when you're going to be available because if you're like a
9 to 5 or
I
a
can do
tough life for us.
evenings and weekends, cool.
That's when I work.
And also like most other people can do evenings and weekends, so now you're fighting in air quotes for the 4 hour window of time that you and six other people can make work.
But it's like, and then like here, and I'll counter this argument with the, well, then why are you trying to see more people? Like, because it's not me with the problem. It's not me with the time issue.
Yeah,
It's
like if it
them with the time issue, and that's fucking fine.
yeah.
Have a want. Have a three. Like, I need to see my person 3 days a week. Cool. I don't have those 3 days for you, love. I got like one day a week that I can for sure spend a couple of hours with you. But like, you also work out every day, so maybe you can come to one of my groups, or you can work out with me, and I'll come to your gym the week after, so we get 2 days together. But like, not where I have to cut time out of my already busy life to do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's making it fit. It's making these conversations and communications stick, so that the time and the energy doesn't get wasted.
Yeah. I think the exact question was does somebody need a certain amount of time to be polyamorous or to look for new connections?
And the answer is yes and no.
Yeah, like
Yes, you need time to get the fuck out.
if it ever got to the point where like your number of connections, my number of connections, our number of connections was impacting our ability to like do our work and pay
Mm-hmm.
our bills and do the shit around the house that we need to do, if like all of that was getting pushed to the side because all of a sudden we're just
Mm-hmm.
hanging out with 45 people a week and we don't work anymore, then like yeah, that's a
We're saving
problem.
that for the commune version of this, where everybody does something and has a job, and
Yeah.
it actually kind of will work that way. But that's for later.
Yeah,
Shh, don't
like
tell anybody.
that would be a conversation between us, probably because we live together, of like, hey, you haven't been home in 2 weeks. Could you come home and vacuum, please?
Could you vacuum
Maybe?
and like maybe sit on my face? Like, I feel like I haven't sat with you or near you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Could you just get super close for a minute? Because fuck, this is ridiculous.
And I also think like if it started to impact connections you already have, or like
Yeah.
if certain people were being like, yo, I haven't seen you in a month and wanted more time, some people only want to see you once a month. That's fine too. But if it starts to impact your like day to day and what needs to get done, then yeah, of course that would be a conversation of like, hey, I love you and I love that you love people, but perhaps
Yeah.
we got a lot going on right now.
Yeah, I think that's a like for me anyways. Like, that was from the start how it was going to be. It wasn't like Jill and I don't. again, if you listen to the other podcast episodes on polyamory, like we don't practice hierarchical polyamory. We don't practice. Jill's not my primary. She just lives here. And I don't say that like with Caddy, like she just lives here, like fucking. No, like it's a great honor and love and fun to have her here.
I can pitch a
But
tent
like,
outside if you want.
if the space was big enough, like Nicola would also live here.
Yeah.
Or Brian's partner would live here. Or one of Jill's partners would live. Like,
No, that was one of my favorite parts about being in the mountains was like, even as simple as Nola, my dog, came with us, and like I didn't have to worry about if the dog was getting looked after because there was enough people in the house. But like that could translate to anything. Like now I don't have to bother you and Brian to vacuum because there's 8 people that can vacuum the house. Like you can vacuum once every 2 months, and
like
we
I
can
see
just rotate.
Riley like once or twice a month, and then it's like we're both busy. They're a person, a human being with a whole life outside of me. If I get to fit in 3 or 4 hours a month of time, of dedicated intentional time with that person, I've gained 3 or 4 hours of peace, rest, breathing, grounding, safety, love, care, touch, connection that I need. How beautiful is that? Emily and me have a fucked up schedule and still fight to see each other. But Emily can also change on a dime. So she can text me the day before and be like, hey, I got a couple of hours. Can I come over for dinner? Fuck yeah, come on.
Yeah, I also think it heavily depends on your expectation with time, which you kind of touched on with like the quality time thing. Is like somebody, I forget who I was having a conversation with, but somebody brought that up of like, well, you and Ethan only see each other so much because you live together. Yes and no. We saw each other fairly frequently when I was downtown. But like it was, hey, I'm downtown, I'll pop by for 5 minutes. Hey, I'm downtown, do you want to go for a walk?
Like literally 5, sometimes 20. Before you moved in, like it was like, oh, I happen to be in for coffee. I have to get back to the gym, but I got like this weird 18, 20-minute window. I would come
be like,
say
cool,
hi.
Making a cup of coffee, come on up. Like it was take what you can get in the best way of like, I would rather see you for 5 minutes than no minutes. So if that's what you got for me this day, this week, whatever, I'll take it. If you're sitting there with an idea of like, I need to see my person 3 times a week for a minimum of 4 hours each time, and it must be just me and them, and there must be no distractions. Like,
cool, if that works for you.
but
if
like
you can pull it off, awesome.
But what happens if that can't happen? You throw the relationship out the window, you're mad,
and you
you're
can't
sad.
Stockpile those hours because there's only so many hours in a week.
You're crying. What happens when that doesn't happen? I say this about my clients. When my clients like expect an instant reply or something like that, I'm like, you're not the only one here. And that like applies to life too. Is like with love, you ain't the only one here. Remember that. Like not in a way of like take a number, get in line, but it's like the whole point of this life is to share and to have multiple people, multiple loves, multiple connections. So like remember
what do you
that.
need 16 hours of time from that one person for? They're like, do you understand the math we're trying to help you do here like, a little bit?
We
like
may have small codependency.
Yeah, like if that's what you need to feel love from one person, you're gonna be in tough. It's fucking doable. I'm sure there's gonna be people that see this that we do this happily. Like, yeah, you also, I would guarantee, practice some version of hierarchical polyamory. You can't not rank people if you're divvying your time with mandatory expectations. No, like you, no.
Yeah, and
you no,
like you and I have navigated this in a relationship of as well of like one person keeping tallies, and keeping tallies just makes everyone pissed off. And the perk of like our life is like we can see each other in the day even when we live together. There's some weeks where I'm like, hey, can we hang out, even though we've like honestly seen each other, but I'm like, we haven't really.
At least once a month I get like a, hey, can we like watch, like it's always, can we watch a movie, like, and we don't. That's not what it means. But like it's always like, and I know then in that sentence, not because it's actually about being physical together, we connect on a fucked up level, leave me the fuck alone. But it's because I know that Jill's craving reconnecting with me. It's we live together. I've been here. But when I get that text message or that whatever the fuck, I'm usually out. I'm not usually in the house. It's only happened once when I was actually home, and she also was. We were working on two different floors. Um, but like it's that sentence I know like we've been apart, even though we live together. Like we slept in the same bed. I've never stayed out. Oh, that's not true. I stayed out, but like not in this moment, like in this context. It's the wildest thought that all of a sudden like I have to reconnect with the person that lives in the same house as me. But in and of itself, of course I would, because we don't actually do life together 100% of the time. There is so much time we spend apart, even if we're in the same house.
Yeah, and I think we're just so like busy. Go, did you get this done? Did you get that done? Like the
If we're content creating, it's not the same content.
yeah, and like a lot of our life is intertwined. So like a lot of us hanging out is us working.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very much like, hey, did you get this done? I need that done. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Whatever. So it's just missing that like intentional
Yeah, sometimes
time.
the quality time is just time. Like we're working and it builds this thing with us as we're doing. Like we know that it fills every bit of the compartment of bringing our life together by way of mission and business and career and this push to calling. But like as intimate as that is, because it ties to our survival. Like there's a raw piece of that. You guys know what I'm talking about, but there's this need to be like, hey, outside of the fact that we are doing life together, can we just exist in this life together? Can we just be together in those moments? So like, and we have a pretty good run. Like it's like sometimes we get busy. 2 weeks we aren't not together, but we just go, and there's no like intentional time. And to each their own. Everybody look as intentional time looks different, but there's a very specific connection between Jill and I when we both come back to that space of, okay, work is down. No matter what happens now, there's no Brian in this house. There's no, Mara's not going to interrupt. Nola's downstairs and drugged, whatever the fuck. Like, it's just Jill and me in this space for whatever time each being needs to reconnect. It's one of those moments. So from that lens, like we're together all the time, but we're not actually together all the time. We are still individuals doing life, working, grinding, pushing, moving forward.
Yeah, and I think that like I don't want to say did us dirty, didn't do us dirty, did somebody else dirty in navigating a relationship, because that's like up front we're together all the time. So when you're weighing time, that's all you're going to see.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you're keeping tally, like we've had to navigate an actual tally of you spent X amount of hours with Jill.
Didn't
So
know it was being kept, by the way.
yeah, and it was, I don't think we've like dove into a lot, but it was very much like Ethan's time. My
Mm-hmm.
time was not cared about, but it was very much like, Ethan, you spent 4 hours with Jill, so I need those 4 hours back somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're keeping tally at all, but keeping tally that specifically, you're hurting your own feelings
Mm-hmm.
because everyone only has so many hours in a day. So if you're sitting there being like, you spent 4 hours and 12 minutes and 30 seconds together on Tuesday, so find a day to spend it with me. But like,
You're always going to feel slighted.
but yeah, there was also a lot of restrictions around that. Couldn't be at the gym, couldn't be with other people, had to be like, you, me, silence, 4 hours.
Yeah.
um,
Which was never agreed upon. The
no.
agreement was that we understood that quality time meant when we were working out. Quality time meant when we would go and do anything. Even like
Yeah, and
this is a part of communicating.
it was a
And
verbal agreement of time is time, except time was not
and it was just
time.
not understood, and that's fine. Everybody is in their own place in these things and in these moments and in these experiences, but at the same time, conversation was had. And this is not even like a direct at this person. This is multiple times that we've had to go through this, and this is why we hammer communication at the top of the show, is that it fucks you if you don't do the thing.
Yeah, and even when those conversations are had, you have to say your piece, because if you don't say your piece, like it could have been a conversation of, hey, that's actually not going to fly with me in any of these situations where we've navigated it. Like if you have the conversation but don't say your piece, you didn't have the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also don't get to come back later and be like, actually, I have a problem that I didn't tell you 4 months ago or whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's always better to have the conversations now versus living in the results of the not had conversation later.
Yeah, and I just think, like we said, you're always just going to hurt your own feelings because it's actually not up to you to dictate somebody else's time and where they spend it. So if you're trying to do that, tough go when the person's like, yeah, it's my time. I actually don't want to spend it that way or can't spend it that way or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and I guess one of the last points we can make on time this way is autonomy. uh, I want to control my own everything. That's the point of this. It's fucking mine. First of all, I've had to survive to get it. But autonomy in getting to do what I want to do with my time, effort, energy, all the things. When someone holds expectations of my time, it takes away my autonomy. It's something that people don't know. Like parenting is one of the hard things. A beautiful reason not to have it, except for on the days when there's no break or breathing or ability to go pee without hearing mommy, 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 mommy. Holy God, you guys are champions. Anyways, but you know, I mean, like autonomy in this life is one of those things that we take for holy fuck granted until we get a little bit of it back,
Mhm.
and then you realize, oh, I gotta protect this shit. That's why I protect my time and my energy the way I do. I know I don't have a ton. I know mine's gonna run out before most people's. Uh, I needed to do some cool shit. I wanted to do some fun shit. So I'm gonna protect it. Like, yep.
Yeah, and I just think it always is the person's decision. It's their time, it's their body, it's their thoughts, feelings, opinions. Like you have to give somebody the choice. And the biggest perk in this life is you have lots of choices, but you have to say your piece so they can say your piece, and then everyone lives happily ever
Everybody
after.
gets to have an informed decision if everybody says their
Yeah.
piece.
You live happily ever after, or you go, oh, our pieces don't align. We're going to go separate ways. Because that's also fine. If you have a time expectation and can't be met, that's cool. But you got to say your piece.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, when we talk about this, like I don't do the time thing, but there's people that do it successfully and people that need that, and that's great. And do your own thing. But it just doesn't compute in my brain.
No. Even navigating with a new connection yesterday, they had said, just how often do you expect to see me? I was like, I don't know. Your life, you have a life, you
Mm-hmm.
got things going on. Like, it's not that I don't want to see you. It's
Yeah.
just like I'm not gonna set those rules and then
And
be
have you
disappointed.
panic.
Yeah, you're panicking because you're like, how do I fit this into my schedule? And then have me be disappointed because you said you could do it, but you can't because life. So instead, let's just make sure it makes sense
Let's
for
agree to
everybody.
communicate when you have some free time.
Yeah, and it could be as simple as like, hey, I would like to see you.
The
Cool, I
amount
can
of get
squeeze in this.
yeah, like the amount of text messages I get with like just days and times. I don't even have to ask why. It's people giving me their schedule for the next 2 weeks so we can like sync up a coffee, like go out for a walk or whatever. Like people get it, and that's conversation. It's
Yeah.
saying like, I love walking. You all know this about me. I love being out there and doing the thing. Come with.
It's also
Like,
one of the
you know what I
easiest.
mean? Come with. Blend your fucking life with mine in some way. It doesn't mean I need to marry you, but if you want to do life in some way with me, do it. Fuck.
That's
Oh, I feel better. I
one
feel
of
better.
my one. I think I can speak for both of us. One of the easiest ways to spend time with us is if you can merge something we already need to do. Like I already need to walk my dog, whether she comes or not. She's kind of lazy these days. Like I need to go get my steps in. You need to go get your steps in. We need to go to the gym. Like there's things that need to get done. So if you can join us with that, like I had like 16,000 steps yesterday. We love that because
Mm-hmm.
part of seeing that person was going for a walk, and that will always feel easier because then I don't have to be like, okay, I have to see you, but I also need to walk, and now
Mm-hmm.
I have to figure out how to do all the things in one day.
Yeah, like Jill and I fell into the trap as well early on here when we started hosting a few of my people, you know, every so often. Because when we started hosting, it was like more intentional time with me and my people. It was figuring out how to hold space. Like even Jill being around them and what it meant to be in the same space is, you know, when I was hosting somebody that was another partner, you know, what was Jill's time and space and what made her comfortable being in the space, and that juggling all of that shit comes down to from the very similar places. Like, what is time to everybody? Now it's this house and this space that we've created is very free flowing that way. Like my partners come in and come out. Jill's partners can come in and out, fly like it's so beautiful to see everybody figure it out, because everybody finally gets the idea of like, oh, everybody's here to get some time with other good people. Like, it's not just about me anymore. My partners come in, like Emily in particular is one of my favorites to talk about, because she just vibes with everybody all the time, just wants to be everybody's friend and is everybody's friend. So like, even if I have to go shower, she comes in after we've been at work, so we'll make food, everybody's eating, and I'll fuck off to shower, and I can just, oh, my favorite thing is hearing her cackle. Her and Brian usually are just howling at something they've been talking about. Like, they're just, not that I don't matter in the moment, but I don't have to matter. What matters is the time and the space being held by everybody in that moment. Like, how fucking cool.
And also way less stressful for you to not be like, I have to be by their side at all times or they're going to have a bad time in our house. Like, you can just be like, be right back, and trust that they're still getting what they need being in the space.
Yeah, like, give them a kiss on the way out, give them a kiss on the way back in, and away we go. Like, it's this beautiful balancing act of like understanding that this is the time. Yeah, of course, I get to go spend time alone with Emily often, whenever we get to do it. But it doesn't mean that that's the only time that she wants, needs, requires out of me to feel like this is worth her time and effort to build this partnership. She spends most of it here. Like, this is what the space is. It's not because it's my house. Like, the space is meant for that. Because time is such a weird thing for us, we might as well have space where people can spend it.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
And even navigating, like, even if you're not poly, I'll always say the disclaimer of like, navigate time in whatever relationship dynamics. You probably navigate it with friends, with family. If you don't have time boundaries with families, you should probably figure that out. But like, you're navigating spending time with everybody in your life, whether you realize it or not. So apply the same to your romantic relationships, and stop putting expectations on your people. My best friend since junior high, I see more lately than I ever had. But
Yeah,
like
she's
that.
gonna listen to this, and now I'm gonna get snap.
Oh, she still has to be on the pod.
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah.
But
She
like,
will be. But like, just little tip, never comes over.
she's getting better. That was like
Like,
2 weeks in a row of seeing her.
yeah, for the first time ever.
That's what I mean. It's like the most consistent I've seen her since we went to junior high together.
And like, we rag, and it is funny, and they're like, she knows, she jokes about it with us. Like, yep, I'm aware.
But it also doesn't make her less of a friend,
No.
because I don't see her as often as probably both of us would like to. It's just like, such as life.
You pick up where you left off.
Yeah, it doesn't mean she's less of a friend. So apply that to relationships as well.
To all of them. Like, this is, yeah, a polyamorous backpack program here, but this is life. Like, if you miss a message because there's polyamory in the title, oh, all of the bad words that I know.
And that's a lot of bad
words. But like, really, you don't want to hear fucking anything anyways. And that's fine. Do you, but like, do it miserably from the fuck over there. Yeah. Because this isn't just about people that are curious or want to know or have this feeling or whatever, are looking to find someone that gets them. This is sharing a human fucking experience to you guys. And if you take back the labels, we're just talking about doing life with people that you like.
And in my opinion, because it's my podcast, also making your life a titch better for you. If we're not saying we're perfect humans who have it all figured out and know it all, but like, we do work pretty hard over here to make everyone's life easier. So help us help you.
A couple of you can, whatever. I don't want your life
stay
to be
for
easier.
The views. Thanks.
Yeah, a couple of you, I don't want your lives to be easier, but the rest of you, I love you guys. Even the ones that don't love me back. And I know who you are.
Forced love.
It's, well.
Anywho.
What is wrong with you? We're going to go. It has been a great bit of why would you do that? This isn't supposed to be a spicy episode. Listen, we'll save this for another episode. We need to go. We got to get out of here. Help me out. Ethan, fight me on this. This has been Shifting the Lens Podcast. You are who?
Coach Jill.
Did you forget?
Yeah.
Were you going to say a little one? Real quick.
You can find the podcast at Shifting Lens Podcast on Instagram and YouTube. You're welcome. Let us know if you're watching over there. Leave a comment, subscribe. all the good things, and we deeply appreciate when you guys choose to share an episode, whether it's to your story or texting it directly to a friend. If you feel like your friend needs relationship advice, just drop them a link to our podcast
Yeah,
and
please,
say
guys,
nothing.
share, 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 share. Fucking share. Tag us. Oh, we didn't do the thing.
We can do next
Yeah,
episode.
that you knew exactly where I was going with
Yeah.
it. Yeah, we got some more program releases for you. Some more Be Better with Brian's coming. A couple more guests. We are looking for more sponsors. We are currently super stoked to be working with Happy House. Obviously, you guys heard about them last week.
We have another one coming soon.
We have hopefully another one coming soon. We have one in the docs. They're just dealing with Instagram bull shit. So we'll deal with that. We got a really cool. I'm so fucking excited for that one. And we're gonna keep looking for neat, great, awesome, small local businesses, localish businesses for you guys to play with, because we like also being able to support your needs of spending your money in cool, awesome, unique ways.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Bye.